So there's a new kid on the block. A new dual screen system. Because we get like one a year now, I think. It just seems to be the rule. The more successful a game console is, the more alterations you have to have.
It's just portable technology. Like phones are coming out like every year or half a year.
But I mean, they do it for home consoles too. If a home console sells well enough, they redesign it and
it's at least
make it smaller.
They at least wait it. Well, it's about a year. Yeah, never mind.
And we finally have a 2DS in a traditional DS form factor, I guess you could call it. Although it has some neat changes to it. So it's going to be going on sale for $149.99. I believe it launches in the summer. Yes, available July 28th. And I have to say, I really like the design just looking at it. One thing that I'm a big fan of is actually the outside shell. It seems like on top it's got like this rough kind of grip, rubbery texture surface on the lid, which is nice. And then I was like, oh, that looks cool. Wait a second. Where are the cameras? The cameras are on the bottom. Like, they're still on the outside, but they're actually on the bottom. I don't know how well that will work, but that is where they have located the outer cameras too. The inner camera has been moved to the hinge, just like it was on the DSi. Another big thing that they changed, and at first I thought there was only going to be one speaker because I couldn't find the speakers, and then I looked up the basically the blueprints for this thing, and it does have stereo speakers, but they're on the bottom of the unit, and I don't know how well that's going to work out because they look like they're basically going to be blocked by your hands when you're holding it, which is not going to work out for anybody. So there's that. All of the I want to say all of the buttons that were underneath the touchscreen have been moved out of the way. Nothing is there now. It looks very clean. The home button is off to the left below the control pad. Start and select are in the same place where the new 3DS XL is. It has all the features of a new 3DS XL, and that's kind of what they're calling it, like the medium level 3DS at this point. Same size screens as any of the other XL models, of course, just minus the 3D, no face tracking 3D, of course, and also the internals of a new 3DS. So you'll be able to play the port of Xenoblade Chronicles if you want to. You'll be able to play Hyrule Warriors Legends at a faster frame rate. So all in all, it just seems like if you want a really good 3DS with a big screen and you honestly could not care less about 3D, this is the DS for you. What did you think about it?
I think it looks pretty nice. Like, I do kind of like the look of it, like the blue around the edges of it, and then like the kind of grip look. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like one of the first like Nerf cases that they made for.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Except a little less like try-hardy, edgy 13-year-old.
Yeah, I mean it still kind of has that whole accent color thing going for it. I don't know if that makes it cheaper to make.
And I think there was like another color. Wasn't there like a white and orange?
Yeah, I want to say they have like this like turquoise blue and then like an orange color scheme.
Also, was the new 3DS able to play normal DS games too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it will be able to do.
Yes.
Some of the other things that they change is they move the microphone up. It's no longer below the screen. Now it's right next to the camera on that hinge. That's also the same place where your notification LED is now. It's no longer going to be off to the right. One thing, I haven't seen this thing closed yet. That hinge looks to be kind of big, like beefier than the other 3DS units. So I don't know if that changes the size at all. Like if it's going to, like let's say if you have a DS case right now that you're using, if that'll make it not fit anymore or anything like that. And I also don't know why they moved the speakers down.
Well, I was kind of like doing. It's really funny because trying to think of like how does my hand go, and I think it just like naturally went to the position of like holding a DS. I think they might be out of the way of your fingers because like this is where like the triggers would be, and then like your hands are usually like right about here.
Right.
I guess like if they were like right here in the in between, like that would be fine. As long as they're not like more onto like the.
They just are
edges.
they're really close to those corners, to those lower corners. So that does worry me. At least it's stereo though, because the 2DS only had one speaker on it, right? The original 2DS.
Yeah, it was like to the left side,
like up on the top.
Yeah.
And this one apparently it does come with a stylus, but it's tinier. It's like a tinier stylus than the 3DS XL. One thing I really like, and this is probably it's give and take. Like I don't like the speakers. I think the camera placement is pretty cool. Like it's not really taking up any of the upper screen area at all. One thing though that I think is really awesome is, and I couldn't find. I was looking at this thing. I'm like, okay, where do the game cards go into? Because I couldn't find the game card slot anymore. I wanted to know if did they go back to going into the top along the back, or are they like the new 3DS where it just slides in along the bottom? And it does do that, but now it has a cover to go over it, and also underneath that cover is the SD card slot.
I was gonna say it looks a lot like, as soon as you started talking about that, I was looking at the like an under image of it, and I saw like the big like cover for it, and I was like, that's really big just for the cartridge.
But that's why, because that's one of the worst. That is easily the worst thing about the new 3DS. I don't know if it's on the smaller new 3DSs, but on the new 3DS XL, you have to open the back panel up. You have to like unscrew. You have to unscrew the back panel to get to where the micro SD slot is. It's on the bottom of the unit, and there's no easy way to get to it. So hopefully you just put a big micro SD in there, and hopefully you'll never have to change it again.
I was gonna say, for like an adult, it's kind of an inconvenience, but like at least they could do it. As like a kid, like I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah. Forget about doing this, but this is genius. I'm just like, why? This is actually, it's basically like they took the 3DS, the original 3DS and 3DS XL, and just took we got the game card slot up here, we got the micro SD card slot down here. Why don't we just combine them? It's like, yes, do that.
That's what I liked about the 2DS, because it had like a little like flip panel on like the side
for the SD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like honestly, it was almost kind of addictive to have it right there, because I would just like play with that, just like make it go like up down up down up down. Up,
just
down.
Something to
I
fidget with.
Yeah, I twitch.
Yeah. But it looks everything else is pretty much the exact same thing as a new 3DS XL. You've got the power switch available without actually opening the unit. The thing that's kind of always bothered me, like I've used the C-Stick before. I have used the C-Stick, especially like in Kingdom Hearts 3D. It does come in handy when you're controlling the camera. I don't have a problem with the C-Stick. I think it's actually well implemented. At first I thought, I'm like, wow, that thing is really tiny and it's in a really cramped area. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but it's not bad. I can't get used to those ZR and ZL buttons where they're placed. It's just you have to almost hit L and R to get to those two. So I kind of question, like, why, if you're going to have two shoulder buttons on a portable unit, let's use my phone as an example. Let's just say you have your shoulder buttons here. Why can't you have a second set of buttons here, underneath? That way you can rest your fingers on the buttons where they are, instead of having to, like, reach over one button to get to... That's never made sense to me at all. I mean, it makes sense on a, console controller because you have space to have them, one above the other one or one below the other one. But I don't think it works on a portable system, and I don't think you really need that anyway. Maybe there are games out there that utilize those two buttons. All I know is in Smash Brothers especially, you can't, even though you can map every other button to exactly what you want it to do, you can't do anything to those two buttons. And one is block and the other one is grab, and you can't change them. So yes, it has thrown me off. It has thrown me off before.
I would just...
You can't even deactivate them.
What are the other two triggers? Is that just the same as shield and grab?
What, regular LNR?
Yeah.
Well, you can map them, so you can make them do what you can make them whatever you want them to be. I think by default, one is shield and one is grab.
See, that's what I just do.
Yeah.
Just because, like,
make them the same.
Yeah, because, like, I almost never use, like...
See, I use with Smash Brothers. I have Y as grab.
See, like, I've heard people, like, mapping the buttons differently to make it easier.
Yeah.
I almost never use, like, the grab button anyway. I always just shield grab.
Shield and attack to grab.
Just because, like, it's... Especially fighting you. I think you're actually the person I learned that from.
With shield grabbing as like a counter.
Which has made me a much better, like, Smash player to, like, just shield grab. Just, I don't know, it's so much easier. Especially when you, like, run. Like, if you're dashing towards someone, shield grabbing really quick, you don't even shield, you just grab them.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I don't like the idea that for some reason, because the game knows that you're using a new 3DS XL, because it'll prompt you for using the amiibos on the touchscreen. So obviously Nintendo has patched that into the game. Why can't they do the same for those two extra buttons? I just want them to be turned off, or for me to map them exactly how I want them to be. It's kind of silly. Like, I'm not going to really hold it against the system that it has that, because now that it's a part of the form factor for these things, it'd be silly if it didn't have them. But all in all, it looks really... It just looks sharp and it looks crisp, and I love the fact that there's no glossy surfaces, it looks like, except maybe the screen, which the screen you kind of want to be glossy. All in all, it looks like a solid unit. Like, if you want to get a DS, especially a DS XL, and you've never had an XL, I can say from experience, the larger screen really does help, especially with Smash Brothers, because the camera zooms out so far in that game. The tiny screen of the original is really, really difficult for me to go back to. And if you don't care about the 3D, save yourself $50 and get this. I mean, I'm not that way, but I can understand why some people are just like, dude, I just want to play this game in 2D. Exactly. I really don't care about the 3D.
No, actually, no, I do have a preference because I don't like the 3D. So
yeah, I think with you, you'd probably be one of those people that, you're like, I'm curious how this looks in 3D. Oh, that's pretty neat, and immediately proceed to turn it off.
That's exactly what I do at, like, the Walmart like demo 3DSs. Like, I'll turn it on and I'll play for like 5 minutes. Like, no, I just turn it off. It's like,
yeah. I mean, it did cause some eye strain when I started using it, but it's one of those things that you just kind of adjust to.
Well, my eyes are already messed up, so
true.
I hate seeing 3D movies just because of that.
I've been told that the eye tracking on the new 3DS doesn't work if you're wearing glasses. So
what's up with that, Nintendo? Got something you want to say?
So yeah, this thing is going to be available July 28th for about $150, and seems like it's probably going to be one of the... Hopefully this is the last version of the 3DS that we have available to us.